Hey guys, this is Jody with the Whiskey Rebellion Barcast. Listen, we're gonna have an interesting topic tonight. I think we're gonna discuss all of the different Facebook groups and now remember, this is a bar topic. So this is, we like to talk about it in the aspect or the format of, hey, look, we're gonna have a few drinks and we may say stuff that might offend you. And if it does, then that you're weak and that's okay. Or we may say stuff you agree with. And then if that's the case, like our page, follow, share, like, comment, say great things about me, send hate to directly to David. But anyhow, so it's shit posting. It's like, why is it certain things on certain bourbon pages offend everybody or offend some people? And it becomes like admin has to get involved. And I'm sitting there going, look, dude, the only rule you have on my page is no politics. Once you bring politics into it, I'm done talking to you. Then you're gone. All right. So outside of that, guys, welcome to the show. How's everybody doing?
Doing good, brother. How are you guys?
Yeah, doing well. I'm drinking my, excuse me. I swear to God, this is the most chocolate tasting drink I've ever had.
I'm glad you like it, man.
I do.
I'm a big fan of it too.
Yeah. I may have to see if you get me another bottle down there. Just send me a Venmo bill. But the Woodford Double Oak store pick from the wine cellar of Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Nice.
And I'm going to tell you what, the more and more I drink, I have to put it, it's one of those kind of like Billy says, you have to kind of slap yourself and put it away. Wait a minute. How's he doing it? Hey, kids, you like my salty ball? So it's be like this. Be like,
oh my God.
Hey, it's one of the kind you just slap it. And you're like, yeah. But anyway, anybody knew that reference, I would hope. But anyhow.
Chef, yeah.
Yeah, Chef.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Chef.
Yeah.
Did he die?
Yeah.
Like the actual chef?
Yeah, the actual, was it Isaac Hayes?
Isaac Hayes did.
Yeah. Chef also died spectacularly on South Park.
I didn't know that Chef was played by Isaac Hayes, but I didn't play. I didn't watch a lot of South Park, and y'all can hate me for that. That's just not who I am.
It's fine.
But anyway, so guys, do y'all want to talk about what you're drinking tonight?
Yes.
Sure.
Start there and
start
move
there.
on to the.
Yeah, let's do that, David.
Let me go. So I've actually had this with you once before. I brought this. This is I mispronounced it before. It's Hulling Station. It's Huling Station. And this is that Old Dominic distillery out of Memphis. Week or two ago, I got to participate in a virtual tasting with the master distiller. Last name was Castle. I brought it up. That's what I was looking at before. Alex Castle was the master distiller. And it was phenomenal to get to talk to her. I got to try their straight bourbon and their blended. And the blended is the blue label. And between all three, as much as I like this, I think the blended is where it's at. This is what's interesting about this one is it's not a bourbon, it's a wheated whiskey. And I got to learn the distinction between that for anybody who doesn't know. To be bourbon, we all know it has to be 51% corn. To be a wheated whiskey, it has to be at least 51% wheat. So this guy's 83% wheat.
Wow.
So it's very, very weedy.
So you're just sitting there
basically
chewing on hay.
I'm eating my Wheaties. And then the notes, especially the nose and the front of the palate, you get a lot of hay. And people are like, well, if you ever raised on a farm like I was, blah, 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 it brings you back. I was not, but you do very much.
You don't say.
Yeah. Well, surprise. I am a Yankee carpetbagging city boy. There you go.
Actually, everybody on this page is Yankees, with the exception of me, though I grew up
in California.
Right. So
pretty much.
So before you dog me out for Pennsylvania. But anyway,
yeah, my state's screwed up.
Anyway, but it's really nice. There's not very many wheated whiskeys out on the market. And so unfortunately I wouldn't know what to compare it with. But it's relatively cheap. I think maybe like $44 for it. It's really nice. It's something a little bit different on the palate, but it's a wheater. So it's kind of light and sweet. And it's really nice to drink. Love to sip on. I annihilated this bottle kind of accidentally because I didn't slap myself and put it away, as Billy would say. So it went really fast.
You just slap yourself and just put it away. You know what I've been saying. Let me ask you.
Wow.
Let me ask you a question.
Uh-oh. Heavy on the K.
This is our last show, guys.
I'm sorry. Is it just axe? I'm looking at you, Mark, because you're my resident expert.
I ask.
Okay, thank you. Well, then I can't ask Billy I can't ask Billy.
My godmother kicked my ass.
There you go.
Anything else you want to add about it, David?
Just if you get a chance to grab the blue label, grab the blue label. It is, in my opinion, the superior of those three offerings.
What's
And
the
go ahead.
makeup of the blue label?
It is a 50-50 mix, one part with this, one part that of their straight bourbon. I don't know, I have the mash bill on the bourbon. But
so it's a blend. Is what you're saying.
It is a blend of actual bourbon and this wheat whiskey. And it's really, really nice together. It brings out really some of the nicest notes in both. Like this one has kind of like a short finish on it. Like it doesn't stay with you very long on the end, and bringing the bourbon to it kind of lengthens that out. And that's one of the things that I like to look for.
I dig. Rob is in mid drink. So what are you having there, buddy?
I am doing a little Maker's Mark private selection. This is the Virginia ABC Smooth and Savory. Quite delicious. It's with five of the Maker's Mark 46 staves and 5 seared French Cuvée staves.
French
Cuvée.
Cuvée.
French Cuvée.
I like you said that. All right, yeah. Mark.
What's up, family? So, in honor of me being pissed off that I'm not home in DC because the DC Costco, yes, the DC Costco, there's only one. They had Elmer T. Lee today for $31.
Wow.
Nice.
So I'm sipping Elmer T. Lee.
Yeah, but you won't find it for 30-something bucks here.
Nope. Not at all. Hell no.
You won't find it on the secondary market ever for that price.
And since we're going here shortly,
I actually, that's what I brought mine out for too. Is I was like, I'm gonna have to bring it out.
And this has a pour date of May 5th, 2020.
Mine is 6/11/2020.
Ooh.
We're all still locked up and whatever. Chuck, what you got going on, brother?
Tonight I'm drinking Woodford Reserve Distiller Select. Comes in at
94.
90.4.
Yeah, I knew it's 90 something. Yeah. Cool.
So on this one, I get notes of caramel, vanilla, little butterscotch, cinnamon, and very little bit of orange at the end. And as far as the palate, or the taste, I should say, those same flavors, like the vanilla, the caramel, the butterscotch, the cinnamon, they carry over, and it's basically accompanied by chocolate covered orange, like a very faint chocolate orange. But the thing about it is, it catches me, and it's very astringent right here in the sides of my mouth and at the back of my throat where, say, my tonsils are. It's very sweet though, but I get like a fizzy carbonated taste, where like a Pop Rocks candy type fizziness to it. And then the finish transfers, but the finish is very astringent, and it's almost like, I'm not sure if it's like paint thinner, but it's just like an alcohol astringentness,
like that
very
ethanol
drying
burn kind of thing,
like just very drying, where you feel like you need to grab a drink of water right after you're finished with it. It leaves you thirsty.
Are you drinking it neat? I'm assuming you are. Yes. I would wonder then, if you added a little bit of water to it or put some ice in it, that if it would open up some of that and kind of mellow those notes. Now, and I say that as someone who drinks almost everything neat. I do start to wonder about bottles that I didn't care for. What if I go back and tried it, other ways you can have it?
I have tried it with water, and it leaves me feeling that same way. I haven't tried it with ice, although I should. Yeah. This one I just recently cracked. It's only has this much out of it. So
neck pour. So, I was sitting there thinking about that as you were talking about it. I think Woodford is fantastic. I think almost all their expressions are good. There's some that in the master collection where I'm like, wow, I wasted money on that. But for the most part, you look at it and you're like, this is pretty good. I mean, almost every pour I've ever had of Woodford's pretty good. Do you think the reason why it's not sought after so much is because of the availability? Because I would put it up against almost anything for taste and profile, but it doesn't typically. You don't get the heat. You don't typically have the higher proofs and stuff like that. What do you think it is that makes it not so sought after? If it's just potentially just because of the availability.
Now, is this a question for me?
I'm asking anybody, but you can answer.
I'll answer that. I think it makes a great mixer, say with like a ginger ale beverage. I think it's more of a mixer to me than, because at the price point, which I think this was around 45, I believe there's better out there for the price than Woodford. I just think Woodford is a great mixer. It's great by itself. However, I get that astringent feeling, and maybe I'll try it with ice, but I just think there's better out there for the money.
Well, there you
I
go.
can see that.
So what would you rather have around that same price point? And I am asking this question for you.
At that price point, I'm going to say
I'm just curious if it's a
Bellmead.
higher proof.
Bellmead cask strength, but that's going to be a higher proof.
Yeah.
I could say Stellum, but that's a little, that's $46.99.
How much was that one?
This one here was around 45, 46.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a little bit less for what we
It's
get
really
here.
not bad,
We
yeah.
get it, man. Here in
Uh-huh.
Tennessee. I don't know that I would go. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I like the Bellmead cask strength. I would say I've never found it at that price point here in Tennessee. $45 is typically right around $79 for it, $69, $79.
Or the Woodford Reserve?
No. For Bellmead cask strength.
Oh, okay.
So you're not going to find that typically around $45. So that's the reason why I asked. Honestly, I think Woodford is solid. Now, it's not. Now, if you were to compare it, if you can find Eagle Rare for the same price as it, or the MSRP that it's supposed to be each and every time and readily available, you should always go with that, in my opinion.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But
now, what is the MSRP on Eagle Rare where you're at?
well, if you find it, it's supposed to be around $38, and if it is, you buy it.
$32.99 PA.
33.
But I have
$4.99 here.
But I've seen it as high as $79, and I've even seen it as close to $100 a bottle.
Store
I
picks would
didn't-
go around 39.
Store picks here are always going to go in the 60s for sure, no matter
For
what.
Eagle
it is.
Rare?
For no matter what it is.
Okay.
I mean, that's going to be like the starting point. They've set the bar, so everybody just follows suit.
I see.
Typically, now
I mean, you can expect to add a few dollars because
what's that?
you can expect to add a few dollars just because it's store pick.
Well,
Now,
I mean,
I
how
can't
much
remember what
do-
I paid for that double. 'Cause I know you're about to ask off the top of my head. I can't remember, but I think it was under 50. Like I don't feel like I paid that much for it from my recollection.
And that could be definitely the case. The other thing would be based upon how many bottles did the store
But
get.
it's also
Just because-
Woodford, and like the store picks for the Woodford Double Oak, or like I was at another liquor store today, and like they had a store pick of Woodford Double Oak. Like I didn't go pick it up, but I'm like, these guys are everywhere. I don't care because it's delicious, and I'm glad you can find it. But maybe the variations will be slightly here and there, but I can't imagine one being like wildly superior or inferior to another, and they're all about the same price. So,
by the way, we need to do lunch maybe tomorrow. 'Cause I'll be coming through Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
tomorrow.
yeah, I should. I don't
It'd be a
have
later
plans.
lunch though.
That's fine.
Okay, we'll
I sleep-
we'll
I
talk
sleep in these
offline
days.
about it.
Yeah,
We'll-
cool.
We'll talk offline about it. I have a
Yeah.
doctor's appointment at 9.
You gonna have-
Allegedly,
so you just
allegedly, I
gonna
can't
have-
hear. What's that?
So you guys just gonna have lunch, and I got to be on a damn call all day.
Yeah.
Well, that's a you.
We're gonna
issue.
send you pictures.
I have to
while
go deal with the
you're
VA in the
hungry.
morning, so you're not gonna get a whole lot of sympathy from me.
Oh, well, I'll be on the phone. I'm on the phone with the VA, so I hear you.
But anyway, so everybody's pretty much covered what they have, and this, that, whatever. So I want to get right into it. So there's a lot of Facebook groups out there, and bourbon Facebook groups, and some of them are really great. And my normal protocol when I see posts I don't like is I just keep scrolling by. Like there's no reason to even comment. Like my favorite ones that I hate so much are the crotch shots. It's like, look what I got. And it's like, okay, that's awesome. I love your car too, I guess, or whatever. You know, you find it, you just look at it like, whatever. I just go ahead and go buy it because I don't really care, you know?
Yeah.
It's not telling me anything well, let me put it differently. I don't share any values with it. I don't share any purpose with it. I don't have anything to connect to it other than I do like bourbon, but most likely it's something I've already got and I don't really care, you know? But my favorite ones that are posted that seem to get a lot of controversy are the ones where people will put like it's turkey season right now and they'll put their turkey that they just killed and they're having some rare breed with it. Or like I had some stag and I posted one where I killed a buck last year and posted the picture in the stag and got some grief about that. And I was like, huh, well, you know, I mean, to me, I'm sitting there slightly erect and I'm like, this is pretty cool, you know? So when I sit there and think about it, like, I just look at the nonsense that's being out there. Like, I don't understand why people like, if you just don't like, as Mark was getting ready to go to, this is the one that gets me the most. Yes. If you can't get it, or if you can only get it for over $100, yeah, be pissed about that. But, or maybe become part of this group and we'll hook you up with a little bit better price, you know, or trades or something like that, because I don't pay over $100 per bottle. And do I think it's great? I do think it's good. Do I think it's highly sought after mostly because of the bottle and the stoppers? I think that's like a big reason why the supply has been dwindled.
It's part of the draw,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, are there certain novelty aspects to it that some people don't like? Yeah, I get it. But for me, it was the first real bourbon that I tried that I was like, wow, that's smooth, you know. It had something that I could talk about with the complexities that I liked. It was the first one that I could feel comfortable drinking straight all the time and felt like this is just good. You know, like I enjoyed the taste qualities. And of course, that's another one, mixers that you see there. People post pictures. I've seen the one the other day, it had Eagle Rare 17 and a bottle of Mountain Dew and then a glass and it mixed. And I was like, now I almost commented on that. I'm like, what in the absolute F are you doing? You know, like who does that?
Here's the, I guess, if I
that's
can
a don't touch my helmet moment.
If I can chime in briefly, well, first of all, the odds that anybody actually did it versus poured any, you know,
right,
That's
bourbon
true.
or anything in a glass and said that's what it was, like just to get a rise out of people. That's sort of the nature of, you know, we're all talking about Facebook groups.
The internet.
It's a nature of Facebook groups that, guess what, you know, the adage about, you know, everyone, you know, opinions are like assholes kind of thing. Like everyone has one, everyone thinks everyone else's stinks. Like that's literally what's happening. Here's me expressing my opinion on something. There is somebody with too much time on their hands who's got something to say about it, right? That, you know, and they want to have an argument with you or take the piss out of you or otherwise give you a hard time. Like, yeah, that's what people on the internet do. And Jody, I think your response to that is right. That is something that looks like it's going to irritate me. Keep freaking scrolling, because engaging with whatever this nonsense is not going to be productive. It's not going to be edifying. I won't feel better by the time I'm done. Like, and this is not true of just bourbon stuff, but like, this is everything on Facebook. Like, it's just, oh God, I hate it.
Why can't we have a shortage of Facebook? Like it just like go out for like a year.
I would be better off probably.
We all would be. We would all know what outdoors looks like in our family and talking to them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know,
everyone would go to Twitter or TikTok or whatever.
I would never go to Twitter.
People, I mean, you wouldn't, but I mean, a lot of people would just go to whatever the next thing is if they didn't have it. You know,
I think Twitter is just
people would try to, you know, hack back into their old MySpace accounts.
Dude, I would totally go back to that because you had music.
Oh, you could set the background and all that stuff. Like,
crazy background. Right.
Personalization was kind of fun.
Like, why did that end? That was super cool.
Who knows?
Because Facebook took
music.
over.
I think it was the
No,
music
but
affiliation.
the setup of it was much nicer than Facebook.
But
Yeah,
you had
it
to
was
figure that
music.
stuff out yourself, and I don't
And
think
it was not
as
as user friendly, but if
Yeah.
you were to revamp it today, it would crush my Facebook.
It could totally be a thing, but I guess back to the the bourbon thing, where they're talking about for as many people who like try to flex with their crotch shots and the bottles and the car, and they got the fancy car and the nice watch, and they're trying to flex on everybody with it. There's
Hey,
equal
don't
or
be digging
more.
on the watch.
No, I'm not hating on anybody, but there's an equal number of people who will post like a picture with like they're in their car, the crotch shot's obvious. They have like a Ferrari logo like written in crayon put over their steering wheel, like, and in a like a fake
And a Dora
watch.
the Explorer watch on.
Yeah, and a Dora the Explorer watch. Like we've all seen those, and the Russo pours, and the
that's another one is the Russo pours. Like I get
We
it.
know damn well they're not all doing that.
Well, the thing is though, is if you can pour it and you can make it stop like that, that's cool. But I don't want to drink that. That's not what I would call a very enjoyable consumption.
Again, let's assume it's assuming that they're actually doing that rather than just posting, over pouring an expensive bourbon or whatever to get a rise out of people. It's all about attention. It all drives.
Oh, they're all narcissists.
Would you always, not to get political, would you always talk about the media? Everything drives controversy. Controversy drives, drives clicks, drives advertising, which keeps everybody coming back because it's getting people paid. Like it's no different, and we're the ones participating in it every time we get pissed off at something. Whether or not somebody,
I'm like, this is ridiculous.
No, you get into it too. Like,
if it's
about it in the first place. But like,
no, I didn't. The only thing I asked today,
we're all guilty on some levels. All I'm saying.
All right, but here's the reason why I brought it up. So I was scrolling through their day, and I seen that this brings on another thing too. So I seen this guy had posted a picture of a bourbon of some sort. I don't even know what the bourbon was, but he had a water gun laid next to it.
I saw that,
and it said, "Am I doing this right?" And then the very first response was, "I'm leaving the group. This was all I needed to leave the group." And I'm like, and I thought the person was joking, but then I'm reading everything, and you can see where the tag went off of him from where he actually truly left. And I'm like, what? First of all, who announces they're leaving? Like, just leave.
Saint Felicia, I think.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys picked that up. There's a group tag now that you don't have to announce you're leaving, and it's a picture of an airplane. And it just goes to
it's not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure.
Yeah. And it's like it's somebody actually put that in that post. They put this is not an airport. You don't have to it's a it's blue that you can hit on the hyperlink. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Who does this? But I was sitting there thinking, I was like, so what is, I mean, like, let's just say I was offended by water guns or real guns or knives or Ferraris or big boob women. That's another one that gets to me too, is like when they do the ladies' night. And I'm like, this is pretty offensive, in my opinion, of what women should be doing with bourbon. I mean, some of it looks like, I'm like, but that's to me. So what do I do with it? I just keep scrolling.
Chugging in that one.
There was one over the weekend, I think it was, that was chugging, and I didn't watch the video. So I don't know if she was chugging, but I seen her, and I was like,
I know which group you're talking about, and
it's the whiskey, bourbon, Scotch enthusiast group.
Yep, WBSE.
Yeah, it's a great group. They have some great topics and stuff like that. I think Chad may be the person that owns that group.
I believe so.
Yeah, and he's solid. He lives here in Tennessee. I try to get him on the page, or not on the page, but on the show, because this would be a great topic for him, because he's always having to defend, like, read the rules. Nowhere does it say nothing about firearms being posted. All it says is no hate speech, this, that, and whatever, and no name, just regular nonsense. But when I look at it, I'm like, well, I wonder why people get so pissed about that. Like, it really, to me, so today, when I seen the one with the water gun, I'm like, now I got a serious question here. I don't know if you guys seen it. Serious question here. Why does anybody get upset what anybody puts with their bourbon, whether it's a gun, a knife, a water gun, a crotch shot, or chugging? Like, who cares?
I agree completely.
I agree.
Why are we having a conversation?
When we see shit, what happens is we see the post. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Rob. I'll let you go again. We see the post. We see someone's gotten mad about it, and now we're paying attention to the conversation.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The fact that we're paying attention in the first place means we are feeding it. Like that's really my soapbox.
Exactly.
It's like just don't freaking feed it. Like,
Well, see,
you like it,
I will be
cool.
honest with you.
Don't
If
like
I,
it, keep going.
well, here's the thing. Like, you know that prior to my unfortunate boating incident where I lost all my firearms.
I'm so sorry about that again.
I was a ginormous firearms guy. So I love 1911s and stuff like that. And if I see a nice gun and I see it next to a nice bottle of bourbon, I'm like, matter of fact, I even have a picture like that on the firearms. What is it? Firearms, alcohol, and tobacco page.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's the logo for it.
Yeah. We interrupted, or I interrupted Rob, so I want to go back to him.
I thought he was done.
No, he had said something. I cut him off. Rob, go ahead, please.
I mean, I was scrolling through the Bourbon Nation page today, and just the amount of crotch shots today alone were it's short season because everybody has shorts on. They're all sitting in their cars.
It's short season. That's so
it's
funny.
Short season.
It's George season.
And I'm just looking. Every three posts was somebody sitting in a car with a crotch shot. I'm like, dudes, why, man?
Yeah.
Put it on the table.
Oh, no, that's sexy right there.
Yeah.
So you like, no, I'm sorry. I seen this on Bourbon Nation. That is beautiful. That is
nice.
That's an 1867. Yeah. 1867 long coat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
no, Bourbon Nation doesn't take it down.
Oh, I thought he took it. Okay. Chuck, was it, did you know, I think it's in one of the DC groups that they post a rule. If you do a crotch shot, that you're muted.
Yes.
You're muted for like 2 weeks or something. If you do it again,
I saw that.
Kick you out.
Really?
They made an announcement and put it up on the top.
I mean, you're telling the masses of the internet, you're drawing a line.
Here you go.
People are going to cross it. That's just how it is.
Oh,
it's ridiculous. It wasn't, by the way, it wasn't the third one. It was like 12 down. But like this one right here was something that I wanted to put.
I'm self-conscious about that.
You can see I pushed love. Like this guy right here was celebrating Eagle Rare with his wife who finished her last chemo treatment and is in a remission. Yeah. So like that, I look at him like, dude, that is freaking awesome. And that makes sense. And then of course, like my favorite are the military ones where people's sons or daughters or whatever going into the military.
Yeah, right.
Or like this one, this guy right here just got an aerospace engineer, full academic, scholarship to go to college at Kansas. And he's sitting there going to have a drink, not with his son because he's underage, but dude, that's a big deal. That's something to celebrate. So I don't see how anybody could hate on that. And it doesn't appear that anybody was. So I'm not really talking about those as much, but man, I tell you what, when you see some of those ones, like the gun one was on there and it's already gone, the one today, but you just sit there.
Was that the squirt gun?
Yeah, the squirt gun. Yeah. It's already been removed.
Really?
Yeah.
But you know that tomorrow morning somebody will post another one.
But like, here's another one right here. It says Blanton's. Let's talk shit. That's how it starts.
Yeah. I've seen the memes like the Tater memes about people who like Blanton's and all this other thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think Blanton's is its own category of like shit posting when it comes to bourbon groups because
there was a guy on Bourbon Nation today who won his bottle from Total Wine somewhere.
I was just seeing that. Yeah.
It was like, oh boy, got a bottle of this crap.
This one right here.
Of crap. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Can't wait to go pick that up.
It says, oh boy, overpriced trash. Kind of wish I'd gotten something else. It's good for trades.
Yep.
And as soon as he saw that, he probably was speeding to go get it too.
Oh, he probably sent that after he picked it up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And drank half the bottle.
It's exactly. I mean, when you think about it, that's a flex too. To be so.
Oh, it is.
That is the flex now. That's more the flex of hating.
Privileged to have access to something like Blanton's to the point where you can dismiss it as junk. Like that's a flex on everybody else who wants a bottle and can't get a bottle. There's an elitism, there's an exclusivity to it. This is why people post pictures with their, like I've posted pictures of like the microphone and my bottle of Blanton's and stuff like that. Cause like, I think it's good stuff too. And guess what? It is a little bit rare. So like, I feel a little bit privileged to be able to have it, but like, the disparaging, kind of commentary that comes with, that kind of thing. It's just people being jackasses on the internet. Like that's it. That's it.
Oh yeah. Well, imagine posting 2 or 3 bottles of Blanton's and see what kind of hell you catch for that. People will tell you that
Oh,
you're
yeah.
buying a store out,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
and
yeah,
you didn't save any for them.
yeah.
I've been tempted to do that, to post a couple and post the 3 or 4 bottles of Blanton's and a couple of the Blanton's Gold. I was like, yeah, I don't feel like them. I don't feel like it.
And then I've noticed that on the military page, those guys drink crap
Oh yeah.
all the
That's-
time.
Is it all
Jim
lead
Beam
slingers
and-
and
No,
what
it's
is
not
it,
lead
the
slingers and stuff, but
101st or
man,
whatever?
but like they get a bottle of, a single barrel Jack Daniels. They're like posting like, look what I found today. And I'm like, that was at the exchange. I know how much you paid for that. First of all, you got it tax free.
Yeah.
And dude, nobody's looking for that. Like
Nope.
no one. No one's looking for that. I mean, you're very fortunate, but
you gotta
nobody's
help
looking.
these people. You gotta usher these folks in to the.
See, I don't want to participate in those nonsensical type of discussions.
I'm just saying, instead of, if you do anything at all, which again, maybe the best thing to do is nothing. It would be like, hey, that's cool that you really like that. Have you tried this? If you like that, maybe you'll like this, and you can broaden someone's horizons where they're not
Well,
obsessive
if
about.
they like that, they may also like
kinda-
to just drink gasoline straight from the pipe. I mean, it's.
True, but maybe it's because that's all they know.
I just know that.
I mean,
so-
I'd rather.
I like
educate
Jack
people.
Daniels. Fight me.
Yeah.
And you guys know I hate that fight me, change my
Change
mind.
my mind.
Yeah.
I almost said this. We talked about this on another show, and I almost went like philosophy nerd on it. And since we're all just kind of riffing, and I'm running my mouth quite a bit, so I'll just philosophy nerd a little bit. Like, that's burden shifting. That's, you haven't made an argument as to why that thing is good, and you're putting all the effort on anyone else to disagree with you. Like, it's intellectually lazy. The whole fight me, change my mind, anybody, humorous or otherwise, like it's bad logic.
No,
Like,
that's
and I'm just
true.
like, it irks the absolute shit out of me when I
Yeah, me too.
do
It
that. I'm
does,
like,
me too.
that's like a pet peeve.
Well,
of
there's
mine.
two
Like,
parts to
make
it.
some
philosophy.
effort if you want something from me.
Well, there's two parts of it that is philosophy aspect. The part that you just brought up would be the second part of it, which I would agree with you, that you're just putting it out there and you're just saying, look, you have the burden of proof is on you, all right, to prove me
When
differently.
it's not, yeah.
All right. But the other part to it, which I would agree is probably the more important aspect to it, is what I like. It can be the best, and two things can be true at once. Like there could be 1,000 people that says Stag Senior, I'd be part of that, is better than Jack Daniels. But if I'm that jackass that loves Jack Daniels and I think it's great, and I say Jack Daniels best bourbon out there, which would never come from me, but if I did,
Did you get that, Mark?
you could. That
This is
would
the
be
blackmail Jody episode.
35
Right.
minutes. 35 minutes.
Yeah, that'd be the point where you look at it and go, I mean, that if someone really loves something, you can't change their mind. So that part's true too. So the burden of proof is on the other person at that point. Though I agree with you, it's a lazy argument and a lazy position to be. But if I like something, there's no reason for me to try something else if I already know it's the best and I don't have to expound on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we're in an entirely.
But here's the other
subjective
aspect to
realm
it.
here, right? Like,
But
what
the
do
other
I
aspect
like
is,
versus what do
why
you
should
like?
I post it? That's the other part that I don't get.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Just
that's the
start some
part.
shit, you know.
Well, of course, that's the only reason why it's there. It really has nothing to do with those two philosophies, which is correct. It's to go back to the third point. It's just to start nonsense on the
Mhm.
internet because they are needing attention right
Right.
then and there.
Yeah, when someone makes a
It's-
post and
it's
they
not
see
an
there's
internet it's not an internet worthy argument. How can I challenge your taste buds across the internet?
Yeah.
How can you challenge my
Right.
taste buds?
I mean, the only person would be wrong if they posted that would be someone who said Fossil Creek is the best ever. Changed my mind.
well, no, it's the same principle though. Like, to them, it may be the best ever. Like,
That person's an idiot if that's
well,
the case.
y-
But
yeah, well, I would be critical of that
Appreciate
person's,
that.
opinion and
I mean, I still
they
appreciate the
actually know.
hospitality, but I also think
Yeah.
you might secretly hate me at the same time.
True.
I looked at this and I was like, as soon as I tasted it, I was like, wow, Mark really and we don't have anywhere close to the same palate. I don't know how he thought I was going to like this, or
Oh no. I didn't necessarily think anyone would like it. I was
he
like,
hates
okay,
me.
I'm not a fan of it. Let me see what my guys think. The Cross Creek wasn't bad. Cross Creek was young, but it wasn't bad. And
No,
Peralta
I
had a
haven't
weird.
tried
The Peralta had a weird something, and I couldn't figure out what it was until
Tequila.
Chuck said it.
Tequila. Yeah.
Yeah.
We discovered that.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I couldn't figure out what it was.
But the
So,
Cave Creek was good.
Mhm.
Before you go on, PA just is doing their bourbon lottery
Mhm.
for May.
Right.
Oh, let me get my nephew
And
in.
just for you, I entered for both the Eagle Rare 17
Oh, you were talking to me.
2019
Thank
and
you,
the
Rob.
Eagle Rare 17 2020. Just for you.
Thank you, Rob.
Are you talking to me?
They're all at MSRP 109.99.
Well, all I'm telling you is as soon as you get that,
If I win, I will let you have them.
thank you. He's talking to me, Rob. Mark.
But I did also enter for the birthday bourbon Rock
Old
Hill
Forester.
MPA $49.99.
Real quick, you want the birthday bourbon? I've got
Mhm.
an open one that I've had since 2016. It's only has a little bit more than the neck out of it. If you want it, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I want a birthday bourbon.
If he says no, I say yes.
Okay. I mean, I'm just telling you, I personally was not impressed. I was like, really? This is it? Me and Chuck talked about that one night.
Oh, that's right.
I was like, I'm just not impressed. This was not something I mean, I see it all day long, every day in the secondary market, and we're talking about some astronomical prices for it.
Right.
And I'm like, you guys pay it. I mean, I got an open bottle. I mean, if y'all want to come take it, you got to come to my house to pick it up, but you got to take it.
Jody, what year is that one?
This is
I think
true.
it's 2016. I'll have to
All
look. I'll have to confirm with you, but I'm not sure.
What they are saying is that after 2013, 14, they seem to have lost their way with the birthday bourbon.
That may be true, but and I don't know. That's what we talked about that day. And it might be a 14, but it's either 14, 15, or 16. It's in one of those time frames. I've had it that long.
Actually, the only reason I was looking at some of these prices, I know in our I Want group, Jack had posted that he wanted the Michter's 20 for like 150 or something.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, he in PA, for all of PA's faults and me hating the state store system, they're listing on this lottery the 20-year Michter's for $799.99. That's MSRP, and they're pretty good about hitting that MSRP price.
Mhm.
The 25, they're listing at $1,000.
So in the secondary,
Yeah, that's
both
about
both
right.
of those would be well over $5,000 in the secondary.
Yes. Yeah.
The Eagle Rare, the double Eagle Very Rare, starts at $2,000.
Well, and
20.
that is actually MSRP. It's $19.99.
Yes, $1999.99.
Is that gonna be a Russo pour for you?
25 would be about
I had to bring it.
7,000.
I had to bring it back
Wow.
just for a second.
I don't think when I seen the last
But you'll do
time
someone will do a post with one of those, and people
That's
go,
two
absolutely.
mortgage payments, man.
well, I seen
For
last year when one of the people from the whiskey, bourbon, Scotch enthusiast page was in Hawaii with their wife, who always does the chugging. I don't know if you've seen her on ladies' night doing the chugging, but they had a bottle of Eagle Rare 17 2020, and
they did a real chug.
and they did a real chug. And I was sitting there like, it was there, and I do not to go. I absolutely hate you guys. You know, I mean, I truly do.
Because you're getting flexed on.
No,
That's
it's
the
not that.
beginning
It's
and
something
end.
I want.
Was
Yeah, that's
that
what
the
I'm
guy
saying.
that does the yee
You want it,
thing?
they have it.
I don't know.
Okay.
There's a woman I know who he's talking about. but the
Well,
guy
his
that-
wife is blonde. Yeah, his wife is blonde and kind of a
Millennial.
dishwasher blonde. Yeah. What?
with the guy that does the yee thing, and with the really long beard,
Mm-hmm.
yee, and he's drinking bourbon that he left sit out all night on a Friday night into a Saturday morning sip, guys, yee.
I don't
Yep.
think I've seen that.
I haven't seen it because I don't really pay attention to. I mean, I
You
love
pay
to
enough
pay.
attention we're talking about. I'm just saying.
I pay attention because these are things I've seen that I just scroll past. Now I did stop on that one. I'm like, does he have an Eagle? I mean, I think this. I was getting ready to hit love. Like, I'm sitting here on my phone. I'm probably on the pot, and I'm like getting ready to hit love, and then he opens it up and he goes, don't, and I'm like, what the?
What the actual?
Was it a fresh crack or no?
Yeah, he just
Okay.
opened it up there.
All right.
I'm like, I'm getting ready to hit love, and like I wish you guys an anniversary because I think they were on an anniversary too. I'm like, this is awesome. Like I love you guys. You know, I think this is great. Then I saw him just doop, 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 and I'm like, oh,
Does anybody here watch Shameless?
I've never seen it.
I'm
No.
behind. I know, but I'm
I've
behind right now.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm a
way
little bit.
behind.
I've seen like episodes here and there. Like my girlfriend's like obsessive about it. There's one, I guess, a series because it follows a narrative series of episodes, and I won't ruin anything. But the dad, the deadbeat dad, the older
Macy.
guy in there, Macy, yeah, John C. Macy, his character, like kind of falls in love with somebody who is terminal with cancer, and like they go to a liquor store and she buys like a $20,000 bottle of it's scotch. It was Macallan, or I'm
Macallan.
Macallan.
Callan, yeah.
Thank you for helping me with that one. Of Macallan, it's like this is the most expensive thing, and it's like $20,000, and like they're drinking it and freewheeling, and like they're spilling it all over the place, like during the whole episode, and it was like caused anxiety in me, even though it wasn't real, right? like I won't ruin the whole episode or anything like that, but like they're very, very unconcerned about what happens to the contents of that bottle, and I'll just say it that way. And it causes anxiety in people who like could really, really appreciate it, would really treasure it, and then see somebody else treat it with such disregard, basically. And I think that's what happened with Jody when he watched that chug of the Eagle Rare. Like they're doing that to you.
Well, the thing is I had an opportunity to buy what was it, 17, 16, 15, 16, 17. I could have bought any of the three, but it's 18, 19, and 20 that are 101s, and that's the ones I want. And so I did not pull the trigger on the 17, the 17, 15, 17, 16, 15. And I had tried a 2020, and Jay had told me that when you try a 2020, it's life changing. I'm like, come on, man. Everybody says that about bourbon. Holy hell. It is absolutely like you're sitting there like, I want another one of those. But at the same time, they had all the BTACs. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna have a handy next. And which was a mistake. I thought that was horrible. I thought I was drinking like orange citrus cleaner of some sort. That's what it tasted like. But the Eagle Rare, I was like, oh my God, this is truly the best. I mean, I would probably give up everything, David, what I have upstairs. Everything I have upstairs for a bottle of it.
That's an impressive statement. You have quite the collection, sir. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I definitely love it.
It's funny because I was having a conversation with a friend of mine earlier today who like doesn't understand anything. Like he has some appreciation for bourbon and whiskeys and things like that, but he doesn't really understand like the whole hunting aspect. He doesn't really get the whole secondary market, why people do this, why people would spend, hundreds of dollars, over MSRP, for a bottle of anything. And I was trying to, relate with him, why it is like so valuable to people. But, these are like the firstiest of first world concerns in the first place. And it's like,
they're absolutely first world
you can do all that. And if you've got it like that, and good for you, I'm happy for you. But like for me, if I want to get drunk on good whiskey, I can do it for under $40, no problem, all day long. And I can help you get there. Like that's always going to be my approach to this thing. Is I can have an appreciation for the finer things, but like, I don't need it. So when people are having these damn fights over Blanton's or Stag or whatever the hell else, like it doesn't matter to me. Like, go ahead, fight about it. Like, I'm good right here. Like, I'm drinking my Healing Station. I've got my Evan Williams bottled in bond over there on the other side of the couch. I'm gonna have a good night either way. Like, be mad, be happy.
Well, I think that would take a different,
there you go. The green label's good too.
A different type of approach to consumption. Like, I am very much into the taste of bourbon. Like there's like, I love to be able to have that conversation, that sophistication that may come from it. I love to pick out the different complexities. Like when I pick out a different note of a bottle I've already tried before, I'm like sitting there going, wow. And I write it down oftentimes because I'm like, man, I didn't get that last time. remember like when we were drinking, I had the Doc Swinson. And like I interrupted you in the last show and I was like, dude, I had cherry. There was cherry in there. Like, you know, like the finishing because it was, I was sitting there.
You've been all about that cherry for a hot minute. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's my favorite. It's my favorite tasting note that I never get. And then now that I've tasted the double oak with the, and it's funny about the double oak is I've always liked chocolate, but man,
you get a lot of chocolate.
You get a lot of chocolate in that. And like, but you get more in the store pick than you normally get. And this is not my first double oak. I have another bottle downstairs. Yeah. But that one right there is the first one where I sit there. I'm like, wow, that and coffee. It has a coffee and chocolate taste.
It makes me want to get my bottle back out because I'm like, I don't know if I got those notes.
You got to try it.
What I got, but I don't remember having a strong hit of either coffee or chocolate from it.
Dude,
so
I tell you what, I have that.
I probably will now. And Jay would say that you biased my palate, but whatever. If I can enjoy it, then I'll
the aftertaste on it is so resined with chocolate. Not chocolate, I mean coffee. Like you get finished, you're like, is it morning time? Did I just have a cup of coffee? You know, that's where it's at, you know.
It will be in my coffee.
Actually, David, it's funny.
Sometimes talking to students.
People's tasting notes influencing other people. I was just watching the WBSE had a little thing, Chad and the woman, the master blender for Old Forester. Her name is Jackie
Zykan.
Yep. And two other people from his page were actually reviewing the new Old Forester 117 that's coming out.
Yeah.
And one guy's sniffing and he's tasting and he's going, yeah, and I'm picking up some citrus notes. And the other woman goes, you know what's funny? Now that you mentioned that,
right? Exactly.
So there is that mind thing that plays into. Well, yeah, I guess I do taste that in there.
I think it's a funny point that you make.
Did the whiskey, Scotch, bourbon enthusiasts change their name, or did I get removed from that group?
There's it's whiskey, bourbon, Scotch enthusiasts.
I don't think they did.
I don't think they changed their name, but he's also got a YouTube page, and I forget what the name of that.
They added something the other day, though.
See, that's why I never comment. I'm never going to get thrown out anywait. I'll throw likes at posts, but that's about it. You want to argue?
There's the private group. Wait a minute. I have been removed from it.
Seriously?
I have been.
Jody.
You said something. What'd you say? What was your last comment? What was your last comment?
It was just a question that he asked about it.
No, that was in Bourbon Nation.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, damn.
I'm back in it though. I wonder if it's because of my postings.
Maybe.
I post her.
If you're sharing the show and they don't, like I said, if you don't ask them,
they're trying to drive
all hacked off if you don't get permission first.
Well, they're doing their own thing too, and I get that.
Yeah. So the thing, and it's Pittsburgh Whiskey Friends. Their thing are stove shots. Put their bourbon on their stove in their kitchen, whenever they're drinking. It's stove shots. It's not crotch shots. It's not car shots. Stove shots.
Okay.
Okay, boys. Whatever you want to do.
Complete grand full-on, but I feel like I need to know more about this. It's like
so
because I am from Pittsburgh, but it's like, well, what the hell does that really have to do with me? Nothing. But I'm intrigued anyway. Like I kind of want to know more.
Post it on stoves.
So is there a page that you guys find that you get to
do cupboard shots
that you get the most information from? I mean, I know what I would pick outside of our own and definitely the VIP chat. And if you're not part of it, you want to be part of it. But it's the Bourbon Junkies. I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Cool.
I thoroughly enjoyed the page and then also the YouTube channel. I subscribe to it. I follow them. I encourage everyone to follow them. Those guys are not like us. We're sitting around. I mean, they are like us. Like they would be fun as hell on our show because they are like us, but they do follow a format.
Yeah.
Where we don't, we're a lot of shenanigans and just chatting and stuff. But
we've just embraced that. Yeah.
But I have noticed that their palette is very similar to the makeup of a few of us on this page. Namely myself, Chuck, and maybe Billy, for sure, and definitely John. We all have very similar, and Jay, sorry, we all have very similar palates. They're a lot like us as well in that. And so I watch almost, and every time I get an idea off of them, I tag them and their video from there, from that in the YouTube channel. And then I go in there and say what their experiment was, and then why we expounded on it, almost like you would do in research in the academic level. Like if I'm expounding on someone else's research, you give credit to them, right, and you tell them why you're doing it, because you have a much more, in our case, much more diverse population, and we want to hear it across the board rather than just two dudes that live up in Michigan.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but no, those are my, by far, of anyone that I've gotten any information from, them would be number one. And then my second favorite is the Nashville Bourbon Barrel. And only because it's local, I can catch like breaking news. I know when tastings are going on, and sometimes I have a free Sunday or a free Saturday. And I'm like, you know what? I've got a couple hours. I'll just go drive out there and go for a tasting. I will tell you that so far I'm batting 1,000 in the wrong direction. Nothing I like so far, but I got some cool glasses out of it. So that's cool.
So did I, from you.
Yeah. No, that was from a different one. That was when I went. It's
Nashville Bourbon Barrel.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is I was with them when we went out for a tasting of Jack Daniels. And then we went out to eat, and then Jay gave them to me, and then I gave them to you.
Keep going, Mark. I don't see Russo yet.
You know, that might be somebody we might ought to reach out to, is Russo guy. Yeah, just to see.
You're gonna ask. We should bring him in. Make sure Jack Frost is on that episode, because apparently they hate each other.
That would be interesting.
Because I'm all about like bringing people together who otherwise disagree.
That would be interesting.
I'm kidding.
That would be you and I.
But not really. Like, I'm not really kidding. I think that would be entertaining.
You're like Dr. Evil. But without the doctorate.
Just evil. Yeah, fine. What the hell was I gonna say? I agree with you on Nashville Bourbon Barrel. We see it, man. We see it. Because I feel like if I wanted to ask a question in that group or offer an opinion, like I'm doing so out of good intentions. Like sometimes Jay will put up a post in there, like, what are your, like the three elements of the perfect pour to you, like things like that. I can answer honestly. Like I don't think anyone's going to give me a bunch of crap about it. I
don't think anybody gives anybody crap at all on that page.
No, on that page, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think it's well curated, because
I didn't hear that part. I'm sorry.
Jay's a great admin for it. And there's a good culture to that group.
Yeah.
Where you wouldn't necessarily, you say you like anything somewhere else, someone's going to tell you you're trash for liking it. Like, it's just going to happen.
Well, see, that goes to the whole change my mind thing. Like I will staunchly tell anyone and everyone, to include Jack Daniels, distillers, master distiller, whatever, I hate almost all your products. All right. And it is a fact. I think it's horrible. It is what it is. But there are, it's the number one selling bourbon whiskey in the world.
Yep.
All right. So I am obviously in the very small minority. All right. And I'm okay with that. And so if there's other people, which there are, that like it, boom. I think that's great for them. And I love that for them, that they pick up something that they enjoy. And I just wish the availability of something I love that much was that readily available at that price point, to where I could sit there and be happy all the time.
But then what would you fight about? Like, that's,
I don't fight about.
No, I know. I'm just being facetious. But yeah, no, I hear you on that. I do. What about you guys?
Change my mind.
For me, I agree with Jody about as far as the Bourbon Junkies group. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Those guys.
There's also the South Jersey.
Too.
What's that?
Those guys are smart too.
Yeah, they are.
Like I enjoy hearing what they pick up, because it's almost like what I love about their notes. And I noticed that Chuck does it, and we all try to do it in the best of our capabilities of doing so. But when they do it as well, which I believe they're just as much of amateurs as we are when it comes to it, it makes you go and be more attentive to your drink, to where you're going, wait a minute, he talked about tasting, 1976 cigarettes or something. I'm just being facetious, but and you sit there and you're like, Okay, yeah, I get 1976. I was only one, but I get it, and you're like, but you kind of, you see what I'm saying? Like you pick up some of their notes and you're like, okay, I get that. But I like also that they're real about, which is what we are. We're pretty authentic about it as well. They're real about price point. Like if you're going to want something, like unless you have a fantastic relationship with your liquor store guy, you're never going to get a BTAC ever at MSRP unless you're in the lottery, period.
Yep.
Never going to happen. All right. So go ahead and just, you can send all the hate mail. You can make all the hate post, bring us back around to where we were earlier. You can have all of that. I am telling you for a fact, you will never have that. And that is a fact. I know almost all the liquor stores in Middle Tennessee. And unless you're their top guy that's buying $10,000+ worth of bourbon a year,
That is true.
You're not going to get it, period. And so so when you look at that, you look at $10,000 versus $10,000, where is your best money spent? Is it spent where you can go in the secondary market and buy stag secondary runs, typically, unless you know somebody, that it still will be a secondary price, but it's going to be $550 to $725 ish for 2020. That's a reasonable price. It is what it is. If that's what you want, that's what you're going to pay. If you want, for me, for example, which is why I haven't pulled the trigger, if you want Eagle Rare 17, 2020, it's going to be anywhere from $1,400 to $1,700.
That's right.
Period. And unless you know somebody, or I mean, even if you know your liquor store guy, like I know the ins and I went, and when my liquor store guy's father passed away, I made sure to check on him like every day. Like I really care about him. But do you think he's going to hook me up with that 17 when he gets it? I doubt it. I mean, I'm not going to hold my breath. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like I haven't spent $10,000 in there in a year, because that's how they set their quotas on it. They're like, spend $10,000, boom, you're up there. We do it by credit card. That's what we say, by credit card numbers. That's what they say all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look,
Yeah,
I'm not trying your nonsense. Just, can I pay something to get that? Can I
How many bottles of Kentucky Par do you have to buy to?
No more.
I still have not had another single pour out of that bottle. I'm like, well, that's $120 bourbon, but like, it really wasn't that good either. So like, not bad, but not that good.
It's not $129 worth.
No, which we've discussed ad nauseum.
Like you had stag at my house.
Yes.
All right, and let's just say you had to pay secondary pricing for that, and let's just say it was $525, $550. Okay, just say that you got it for that. Was that worth that for you?
500 anything
stag.
dollars?
Yeah.
No.
That's where I disagree with you.
To me, nothing is worth that much, which is why I don't go. And if I had the kind of finances for it, I might feel differently.
Yeah,
I could afford.
Well, I think you have to be responsible. I think that's a thing.
Yeah.
But like Chuck, let me ask you, because you have a few of those rare BTACs.
A few,
right?
Yes.
So if you had some that were out there.
All right, Chuck. Modest.
Well, I know that he has a few that we've talked about, and I'm like, dude,
sometimes
can
Triple
I
H
not just
gets
buy
the
it from you? And he's like, yeah, I'm not wanting to sell it yet. And I'm like, oh, God, it sucks. But anyway,
know the feeling.
You have those, and let's just say, I don't know what you paid for them, but let's just say you paid secondary pricing for them. Okay, let's just say, we're going to stick with stag. And you paid secondary pricing for stag, and let's just say it was $550. We'll just go with an easy number to remember.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's worth $550. It tastes that good. Now it's not something you would be as a daily sipper or anything like that, but when you have it, it is that good.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Now,
and that includes the 19 that everybody dislikes.
Dude, I think the 19 is. I wouldn't say it's better than the 20.
Like the 19. I tasted it. I liked it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's better than 20 by any means, but I don't think it's so vastly different where I'm going to put a hate post about this.
No, it's just lower proof. I think it's 116 versus
116 point something. Yeah.
138.5
for
this year.
Yeah.
Or last year, I should say.
Yeah.
And that's where the hate comes from. Plus, I believe everybody says or mentions that there was so much of it put into the market.
Yeah. Yeah.
That they push so much into
But
the
see,
market and
that's
cheapened
actually true every year with BTACs, and because they'll pick a certain one, and well, let me put it differently. It's preset dates, so they probably have it forecasted out already, and at some point there's going to be. I think this past year, 2020, there was only 3,240 bottles of Eagle Rare 17 put on the market, somewhere around there. And the difference was Stag was 32,800 and something bottles. All right. So you're talking about a ginormous difference in numbers.
Mhm.
All right. And then Handy was up there. And then the other ones, the Laurel was also a low number too. I think it was under 11,000 bottles out there. So it's somewhere in that. So that's how they do it. However, if you were to go back and look at the curve, the forecasted curve, you'll see that it actually hits all those bottles. At one time, Stag was 3,240 or 3,280 bottles that were put out there, while there might have been 32,000 bottles of Eagle Rare 17 put out. The problem is, and you can find those bottles. The problem is that those years are 90 proof. And that's the thing I don't want. I want the 101. Which is 18, 19, 20, and presumably 21, 22, so on and so on. So that is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, this was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. We didn't have really any topic. We had some topics that people asked about that said they were going to be on the show. And well, they are in these black spaces over here.
On the sides. They're in the wings.
Yeah, and they haven't spoken up at all. So
they're in timeout.
Yeah, they're in timeout. So, but anyway, I think it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the conversation.
Good show tonight.
Yeah, it was. It really went to some interesting variables without getting political.
It certainly did.
And I think we hit on, and I will tell you this, I think we hit on the things.
A whole lot of shenanigans.
We didn't. Maybe it's not us that's doing the shenanigans. Let's take a pause and think about that.
Mark's like, what the fuck?
I was sipping. I'm sorry.
Well, Mark hadn't stood up 5 times to show us his shirt tonight, so
Oh,
what shirt you got? What you got?
this is fine ash.
Fine ash.
Yeah, I didn't change. I was gonna change.
Ash.
It's my family down there.
Mm.
Well, you've been excommunicated from Georgia. Anyhow, guys, y'all have a wonderful night. Always fun.
Cheers, boys.
Love you too.
Peace out.